Hey there, I'm Sandy Reese, Chief Encouragement Officer at Get Fully Funded and the founder of Fundraising TV, where we teach you in bite-sized lessons how to raise the money you need to fully fund your budget and change more lives. I want to give you a sneak peek into the world of Fundraising TV and give you a tip that you can use right away to go raise more money for your small nonprofit. If you like what you see, stay tuned until the end, and I'll tell you how to access hundreds of lessons, templates, cheat sheets, and swipe files that are found only inside Fundraising TV. The last quarter of the year is an amazing time for fundraising. The holidays are approaching, people are feeling generous, and there's goodwill everywhere. But it's easy to get caught up in a frenzy of asking as you try to make the most of giving season. If you're not careful, you can over-ask your supporters for money, and that will hurt you in the long run. On this episode of Fundraising TV, I'll show you some ways to help your donors feel the love this holiday season so they don't feel over-asked, but instead feel excited about giving to your nonprofit.
If you're looking for the best advice you can get when you're raising money for a nonprofit, Fundraising TV.
We all have that friend that the only time we hear from them is when they want something. Thank goodness for caller ID, right? Most of us are willing to help someone once or twice or even 3 or 4 times, but when we realize they only call when they need to borrow money or need our help moving, it feels yucky. You see, relationships are about more than just being asked for something all the time. They're about the fun stuff and hanging out and getting to know each other. It's the same with your donors. If you don't want to burn people out, you can't just ask and ask and ask some more without balancing it with the other pieces of relationship building. Donor relationships are built on good, consistent communications and warm touches. Warm touches are those little, thoughtful interactions you have with donors that leave them feeling good inside, and they're critical if you want to give people a good experience and keep them giving. In fact, you need 3 warm touches in between asks in order for donors to not feel over-asked. If you haven't watched Core Content Episode 6 about avoiding donor fatigue, you might want to go catch that one. In it, we talk about the 3-to-1 ratio, which shows us that we can ask as often as we like as long as in between the asks, there are 3 warm communications. In a nutshell, we have to pay attention to what we're doing when we're not asking in order to keep people giving. Okay, back to fundraising during the holidays. It's fine to ask multiple times during the last quarter of the year, but you'll need to add in extra warm touches to keep people feeling good. I'm going to show you 7 of my favorite warm touches that you can use during the holidays. These will surprise and delight your donors, mostly because few other nonprofits do anything like this. Do you have to do all 7? No. Pick the ones that sound like fun to you and do those. If you can work in 3 or 4, that's great. More is better because if you're being sincere, you can't overthink or over-update your donors. All right, here are those 7 warm touches that you can share during the holidays. Thank-a-Thons, generalized thank you video, personalized thank you video, holiday cards, private VIP reception, special Christmas ornaments, notes, cards, and video from the front lines. Now, let's take a closer look at each one. Number 1, Thank-a-Thons. A Thank-a-Thon is where you gather up a team of board members, staff, key volunteers, and maybe even program participants on a specific day, and you make thank you calls to your donors. You simply take a list of donors who are given this year, divide it up between your team members, and everybody starts calling. The object is to connect with as many donors as possible to say, "Thanks for giving this year." You'll want to script out what you want people to say so they don't stumble through their calls. And these don't need to be real long, 2 or 3 minutes at the most. It's okay to leave a message if the donor doesn't answer. You may not have phone numbers for all your donors, but for those that you do, call them to thank them. I like to hold Thank-a-Thons in early November on a Saturday because that's usually an easy day for your team to gather and typically a good time to catch donors at home. I remember once getting a call from a Thank-a-Thon that an inner-city youth ministry was doing. The caller was a 13-year-old girl in their program, and I could tell she was reading a script. She was clearly very nervous, but totally adorable. I remember it so clearly because of all the nonprofits I support, it was the only call I got that year thanking me. Honestly, I don't think I've received many since then, and that's been a long time ago. Clearly, calling a donor to say thanks is a great way to stand out. Okay, number 2, generalized thank you video. Video is a hot
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
way to thank donors. And if you're not using it, you are missing out. There are so many tools now to help you shoot and edit video that anybody should be able to put something together. The simplest way to start is to use your smartphone to shoot video and publish it to YouTube or Vimeo. The holidays are the perfect time for sharing a thank you video with all your donors and supporters. It is the perfect warm touch to send a link to your video through an email to your whole list on Thanksgiving Day. If you use an email broadcast tool like Constant Contact or MailChimp, you can schedule it to go out whenever you want, so you don't have to work that day. Just make sure your video is short, sincere, and makes the donor feel good. You can also share this video on your website and social media. If you want to see some examples, I have a whole playlist on my YouTube channel, and the link is in the handouts. To see the rest of this episode and dozens more like it, covering every aspect of fundraising and operating a small nonprofit, join me and hundreds of your fellow nonprofit leaders inside Fundraising TV. You'll get immediate access to hundreds of practical micro lessons, templates, cheat sheets, and swipe files that you can only find inside Fundraising TV. So click the link to learn more and join the program so you can get started today.